Moving right along. Standard 2 for biology says you will analyze how biological traits are passed on to successive generations. Elements A and B distinguish between DNA and RNA, and you will be able to explain the role of DNA in storing and transmitting cellular information. DNA, or deoxyribonucleic acid. DNA is a long macromolecule or polymer made up of strands of monomers called nucleotides. Nucleotides have 3 parts: a 5-carbon sugar, phosphate group, and one of 4 nitrogenous bases. Nucleotides, 3 parts. Right here you have adenine and guanine, which are the purines, and then you have cytosine and thymine, which are pyridamines. These are the 4 nitrogenous bases that make up DNA, and these are strung together, and they always work in the sequence A, or adenine pairing up with thymine, and guanine always pairs up with cytosine. The sugar right here in DNA is deoxyribose, and then you have the phosphate group. These are hydrogen bonds that connect these nitrogenous bases in the rungs of the ladder, and this is different in RNA, and because RNA has ribose instead of deoxyribose, and uracil takes the place of thymine. DNA is double-stranded with rings of the ladder being held together by hydrogen bonds between the bases. Hydrogen bonds are bonds that, just like in water, are easily broken so that the DNA can unwind and make copies of itself, or make an RNA molecule. This allows 1.6 millimeters, or about the width of your pinky nail, of DNA to fit inside microscopic bacteria like E. coli, which this is because DNA, the 2 strands are twisted in a helix, a double helix, so that it can carry all that information in that tiny cell. RNA, or ribonucleic acid, is also made up of a 5-carbon sugar, but it's ribose, and uracil takes the place of thymine to pair up with adenine. There are 3 types of RNA. You have mRNA, which carries messages from the DNA to the rest of the cell. The DNA carries the blueprints inside the nucleus, and it is very precious. And RNA is like DNA's ugly brother that has to do all the dirty work. So then you have RNA, which helps at the site of the ribosomes to assemble the proteins and the amino acids. And you have tRNA, which transfers each amino acid to the ribosome. And that's great. DNA to protein. So DNA is the blueprint. This is where your genetic code is found. This is where you get your traits from your parents. And this code is in this double helix. The double helix unzips, these hydrogen bonds break and spread apart. One side of the DNA codes for an RNA strand, which RNA is single-stranded. The RNA then carries the code from the nucleus to the ribosomes, so the RNA actually leaves, goes to the ribosomes where the amino acids are made and the proteins are assembled. The RNA helps make each amino acid and string them together to make the proteins, and the proteins are your actual traits, or the phenotypes, the things that you see that cause your appearance each 3 bases is called a codon. So for example, UAG codes for a specific amino acid, which is then strung together to code for a specific protein. Yeah.